Well, I'm doing videos. I thought I'd do one here in my truck. I've had this thing about 6 years or so. It's a C30, 85 model. It's a 1-ton. 454 with a turbo 400 transmission, 411 gears in the rear. You don't like highways. I wished I had one of them nice overdrives for it. That would really help it out on the highway. I've done a lot of work to this thing. I recently redone the motor. I don't drive it very much because of the mileage. And let me show you the motor, because it looks pretty. You can see the painting. Let me show you all the work that I've done to the headers right here to keep from burning my ignition wires. You can see I have the socks around the boot and the looms down there, and a little bit of wrapping around the headers. Now you can see where my finger is right there? Header leaks. I can't get past them. I've tried everything on this thing, and you even see the aluminum fancy. That's an $80 set of gaskets right there. This stupid ass thing still leaks. That's another kind of reason why I don't do a lot of driving on it, because the exhaust goes right into the cab. A lot of it, not a little bit of it, not all of it. But you can see how I've done a little bit of wrapping. That's to keep from burning them wires. I used to go through a set of wires about every 2 days. Jegs valve covers. I had powder coated the same color as the truck. I got a breather system. You can see right there goes to this breather. It hooks into a Y, if I can show you right there, from both valve covers like that to this. I don't like my motors to rebreathe all that crap. You can see my fuel system is heat wrapped. Keep the heat off of it. That is a Carter high volume pump right there. It's a nice looking one. I did the shroud and stuff like that. Got the temperature gauge on the radiator. I use drain pipe for the cool air induction. I modified the air filter system to have a dual inlet right there. It goes right on both sides of the grill, right there and right there. I'm running a Holley, is it 650? It's a vacuum secondary. I don't like it. This is an older one. It doesn't have the good annular down leg discharge. It don't get good mileage, and it don't run good. The Summit brand of carburetor, which is a modification of the old Motorcraft, when I can afford it, I'll get one of them. It's still a vacuum secondary. It might be 750. I'm not sure. But a little bit of gumming in these carburetors, and they're just no good. You can see I heat wrapped the system going up to the carburetor. I got a fuel pressure gauge right there so I can know what's going on. I run a dual battery system and tie them together. You can see I got them on both sides. That one over there was just a kit I bought at my local speed shop. And I use the marine connectors, and I use the made up cables, and so all I do is just tie them in like that, and it works great. My distributor back there, if you noticed, all go off on each side. There's some folks on the well, if you look around a little bit, you can find them. What they do is they split the cap on the inside and reroute it, so each side runs to each side of the motor. You see I got it numbered and labeled and all that stuff. I really like them. They run about $50 and they'll last a long time. HEI is a good distributor. I've done some modifications to this. Actually, I got a cooling system on it. Below the modules are bad about going out on these things. Below the module, I put a cooling tower. It went off it was a chip system. I took a computer repair class, and I got one of them cooling chip towers, and I just attached it to the bottom underneath where the module is. Now there's a, I also used a computer silver, oh, it's like a silver style of heat conductive stuff that they use on chips, and I put that under there under the module also. So hopefully I'll never burn out another module on this thing. I've gone through quite a few on this thing. Pretty looking motor. I've done a lot of stuff to it. Edelbrock manifold. It's the Performer. It's an oval port head, the 049 head. I spent a full weekend porting these heads out. It's running a flat tappet cam with 510 on the intake and 540 on the exhaust lift. Duration is around 250, 240, somewhere around there. It has no lope. Well, there's a tiny lope at an idle. These motors have crappy exhaust. That's why you want put more emphasis. And I did more of my porting on the exhaust than anything because of that. And I don't get to do a lot of driving with this thing and stuff like that. Right now the AC is out of it. I've got to figure. I do not like the old style compressors, especially with 134 RA. That it just don't work. So I need to figure out a bracket system and maybe the 504 Sandon compressor. Here's a neat little addition right over here, which holds fuses, and this is a distribution block. You can see I have a power going to a central system on it, and I can run power to all sorts of stuff right up there. I run one power cable up to an overhead shelf system that's on the inside, and right now my ham radials are burned up, but I do have a CB in there and a radar detector, so I can run different things off that and all, which is neat. Alternator is a 95 amp unit. I found a rebuilder in town. I went ahead and bought the one wire. Got tired of the other one's going out. That seems to work pretty good. Nice grill guard. I think I got that from J.C. Whitney's. Uniroll tires? Yeah. I've done up a big system as far as for rear view system, which helps out a lot. I put the limo tent on here because our summers are brutal here in the south. In the back, this bed liner is out of an old Ford that I had that I bought in '87, and you can see I have no way because of the trailer hitch to put my tire under bottom, so I had to mount it up like that. I found the mount in a junkyard, and I used a tire cover on it, and it works up pretty good. These bed liners are bad about building up static electricity, so if you carry gas cans in there, be careful. Rolling around in there. Got my tailgate now to keep the rainwater built out. This long mud flap I built because I pull trailers and stuff to try to keep as much stuff off of it as possible. And I built another one there. You can see I have two mud flaps up front, and you see one right here, and it's mounted in a goofy position. The reason is, right here underneath the cab is a derail transmission cooler. And it is a 16-pass, fully self-contained unit, which is, it's got its own fan and thermostat system in there to run it. And I wanted that to get as much heat out of this as possible. The reason why this motor blew up once is the thermostat locked up, and while I was doing 70 miles an hour down the road, and everything inside the motor went up. I mean, the block didn't crack and the heads didn't crack, but the crank rods and everything else turned blue on the inside from the heat. eventually on this other side I'll get the same derail oil cooler and put it underneath the cab right there. 16 pass unit. It'll have its own thermostat that I can control, and it'll have its own fan system, and I mount it underneath the cab. So that's the reason why I put that secondary mud flap right there, is to keep crap off of it. Now I use a relay to, whenever I turn this off, that it turns all the fans off. And I did that on it. I can't remember. Okay, right there is where I mounted the relay to go to that fan for the transmission. I don't have the one on the motor as of yet. But if I was to start driving this thing all the time, I would definitely put the oil cooler system on there too. I can't wait to get that new style carburetor on there from Summit. And the stereo went out. Wouldn't you know it? It had a cheap Walmart stereo, but it had a good amp and a good speaker system. So that was, you know, actually sounded pretty good. And then the damn stereo went out. So what do you know? These old child trucks are neat. I need to wax it, clean it up. But I thought you guys would like to see something like this. These are neat old trucks. You just don't see them like this, and this is kind of rare, being a 1-ton and stuff. Single wheel like that. But anyhow, I'll close out on this.